control select, I can draw. Ugh. Sorry, computer, this is bad. Let's see. Not this one. So now, moving on. Let's say I have this shape. The shape is in the, see, I turn off the background. See, the background is just there. So you get to see. So you don't see this alpha, the invisibility. This checkers means that it's invisible. Okay, I can put a background on the back. It's all layers, right? You all familiar with layers?
Yeah.
Okay, now, if I want to add things to this character, like detail, instead of drawing it on top like this, you see it'll kind of come out outside and stuff like that, and I'm ruining the initial shape that I had, right? I'm like, well, I have to redo it again, I don't know. Well, you don't have to do that. You have this thing called history too, that lets you go back in time, all the way back, and there it is, I'm going back. So now, so I don't have to do it and I can keep my detail. What I'm going to do is use these locks over here. The lock, this lock, the first one, what it does for this particular layer, it has to be, the layer has to be selected. Allows you, let's say if I want to put some orange to the character. See, now you cannot paint outside, you can paint inside, so you can change things real quick like this. Like the eye, like that. To begin with, it has to be orange. So you do orange. Then in here, it's going to be a little bit more darker orange. It's going to be over here, like that. Right? It gives you freedom to lay out colors, right? In shades, like that. The inside of the ear is probably going to be lighter, lighter. Maybe the inside of the neck is going to be another lighter color like this, like that. See? And I don't have to worry. I couldn't do this if I was to unlock this again, to leave it free. I would kind of draw out of it. You see that? I kind of don't want that because I want to keep the shapes. I want to work with this shape. It's going to come in handy later on. Oh, I forgot to turn it off. Where is it? Right there. And now I can just put this in here like that. Maybe around the eye, I want to give it a different color. That's going to be a little bit darker. Maybe like this. The muscle, I think by nature, they're a little bit darker. Like that. Right? Then that's too dark. But anyway. Give it shade. You see that? Like that. Light it. Get a highlight right here on the nose, like this. Tops of hair, gonna be more red, right? So see, you see, it's a lot easier to work with this, right? If I'm working with that shape. See that? Like that. Now, you guys follow with that one? You guys can understand that, right? You guys want a little bit something that's a little bit more like advanced? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Maybe we get an eyeball because it's bugging me the fact that it doesn't have an eyeball. Like that. Okay, now, let's say that I'm doing spots. I want to put spots on it, but I'm not sure how I want to lay out the spots on it. I kind of don't want to commit. I mean, I'm using this giraffe like this is such a great character, but let's say it's an important character. A lot of money is behind it. It has to be designed for toys. So you want to change variations on spots. Then, what you would do is this. You create another layer over here. You see this? Now, you want to parent these layers. And to do that, you hit Alt. You see how that icon comes? But you have to be on between it like this. And hit Alt. You see that? So you press it. Now that layer becomes nested on top of the other. So it's almost the same thing as before, but it's different. Because on this one, let's say I can create like different shapes like that, like my shapes and things. Maybe like that. Right? Like this. But I kind of go out of it, you see? Like the worst spots ever, but oh, like, little freckles there. Little spots on top. I think they have spots up here. So up here. But see, all this allows me to be rougher. Rough. Now, I'm going to fill that color. I'm going to select a nice brown. Very close to this one. Like that, that's a good one. Okay. I'm going to fill it. Okay. Okay, made a mistake. Okay. The computer never lies. What I did is I nested it to the wrong layer. I did it to the eye. Can you see that? Huh? Let's nest it, parent it. Hit Alt again. It'll take it out. Oh, I gotta put it under the other layer, which is this one here. Remember? So look what happens when I nest it on top of this one. You see that? This layer is as you see the selection. But the cool thing about this is that if it's nested, why would I do that, you'll ask? It's because I can move it around. You see that? And it's only going to show what the parent layer allows you to show over here. Can you see that? You guys get it? Alright, I could be a teacher then one day. Cool. They say when you teach, you learn. It's true. Yeah, that's really cool icon over there. That's cool. The silhouette, you see silhouette? Yeah, like that. That's cool. That's cool. You guys should put together sketches that you do today. Don't be shy and start pitching it to each other. We should all collect them and play around with it and see what comes out of it. You know? Seriously. That's how you would do it as a studio anyway. Now, that's how you would do a giraffe. You guys follow how to draw in shapes? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, let me save this so you guys can have it.
No, you sure. I'm just throw things.
Real quick, now that we're doing this giraffe, another thing to keep in mind is when you draw a character or giraffe, how would the giraffe look as a baby? How would the giraffe look like as an older guy? How would the giraffe look like as a girl? How the eyes are going to change, right? Okay, there we go. Now, let me save it, let me save this. Okay, so that was designing with shapes. Now, let's say, before I move on to the background and we do turns, let me show you how to do the same exact thing with color to make your characters look super cool. Let me get a character that I've already designed. It's already cleaned up. Okay. let's do the character because we already know what the color is like. See, when you design the character, you gotta make sure the line quality is clean, everything is closed in, right? But we're gonna color a line. I don't like that one. Let's do this guy. Now, when you see a character like this, you see this bucket tool here, and then you start filling in the character, right? Like it's gonna be this color, and it's not the best way to do it. It's kind of good to get like rough color, but if you're gonna do a character, you're gonna change colors, you're gonna play around with colors and line. You don't want to kind of fill this in because then you can't change it because it's really flat, right? So you want to work in layers. And to do that, let's say we have this character and we have this line. You want to separate the line and the background, right? Because it's only one. You see it's only one layer here. So I want to separate the line. So I'm going to select white. It's going to select the white with a 1. Then I'm going to go to select. What is this? Select similar. So it's going to select the same pixels with the same color values. Okay? So white is the easiest because white I'm thinking is the color I want to separate the black from the white. So then now that I selected similar, selected all white. After that I'm going to go back to the selection menu. And selection menu I'm going to go inverse. So what does inverse do? Instead of doing the white, it's going to inverse. It's going to select the opposite, which is whatever color that is. In this case, is black and gray. So now, what I'm going to do is either copy it or cut it. I'm going to cut it so you get to see what happens. I go X, cuts it, right? It leaves me a little bit traces of pixels. You guys know the difference between pixels and vectors? Yeah? Okay. It leaves a little bit of pixels there. But it's okay, I can lose those pixels. You know, so usually we'll just dump this layer because I don't need it. So I'll just get rid of it. I want that fresh. Okay? And what I'm gonna do is even this layer, I kinda like this layer to be, I use like a gray, kind of gray like that. And the reason why I select the gray is because it kind of gives me like a nice background, put colors on top. So if I put a white, it'll stand out. Like when you feel a character's color, like his eyes, it just totally makes it like stand out. So now I'm gonna paste the layer that I cut, which is the line. There it is. Can you see that? So now I just have the line. I don't have the white anymore. You guys remember how it was before? Yeah? So I have a line. Why do I want the line? Because, yeah?
Do you lose any of the quality of the line when you copy and paste it like that? Because I saw you left some pixels behind. So
You do? It just becomes more like a staircase looking like this. Now let me save this so we show you the difference. Because you do lose those pixels, you do lose those pixels. Those pixels that makes it look smoother from far. But at this point we're so zoomed in that you can't really tell. You won't be able to tell. You don't lose so much quality that it's going to affect you. Now, if you're doing for something that's going to go on posters, you do not want that to happen. In this case, you wouldn't use Photoshop. You would use Illustrator. In Illustrator is how you would clean your characters. Okay. For instance, I don't really clean in Photoshop, depending what the show is. I clean my characters in Illustrator. You guys are familiar with Illustrator in lines? It's vector. It doesn't matter. You can blow it up to poster size, and they're gonna look beautiful. So what I usually do, my workflow, I draw them in Photoshop, I clean them in Illustrator, and then I bring it back to Photoshop with high quality. And from there on, the color stylist does them in Photoshop. Like does the color, gradients, because it's easier to put gradients in Photoshop than it is in
You don't do the coloring yourself?
No. Someone out there knows color psychology, like reds or darks and purples with like those weird greens, grays are for bad guys, right? And good guys are not good guys, but like innocence and purity and goodness would be yellows, pinks, light blues, colors like that that are just appealing in that way. And then for superheroes, it would be reds would be mixed with blues and always yellows. If you think about your superheroes, they have some of those colors, and it just feels like heroic, right? And that's how kind of you want to control your characters. You kind of want to do that. I mean, the Kike, the one I show you, the Kike at the end, the colors. I had to give it to a friend of mine because I was just going crazy trying to separate everything. It was just too much for me. It takes me a long time to color. If somebody does it every day, boom, they hit it right out and on. They have 2 or 3 versions. So pay attention to color because you can be a color stylist. And for a color stylist in a show, there's a color stylist for props, and sometimes there's a color stylist for characters. Sometimes they do props, but sometimes there's somebody who does props, and then someone else who does backgrounds only, like paints the background, so it has textures and things like that. And so yeah, there's a market for that. I mean, like believe me, I only do characters and clean them up, and sometimes somebody else cleans them up for me too. Because I clean up artists as well. But this is like in TVA workflow. In other workflows where like feature, you have your cleanup artist, your assistant this, assistant that. You know, the budgets are way bigger. But anyway, going back to this guy. The reason why I want to save the line is because the line now, I'm gonna get rid of this thing. Actually, I'm not gonna get rid of it. I'm gonna save it. The reason why I put a gray here is to give the character dimension, kind of like a shadow. But I can redo that. I'm gonna remove it. Select that. I think I don't have a lot of variations on that gray because or else it would have been like a bunch of colors to take off, you know. Usually you just want to work with black when you clean them up. Select similar. Boom. We'll select similar color. I just simply delete it. There's another variations of gray here. Select similar. Delete it, right? No, I lost too much. We'll keep saying it. Okay, now the reason is let me make this guy a little bit smaller. Okay, so I have the layer. I have on the first layer, I have the line, then the background. The background I'm not going to touch. I'm going to put another layer between them. This is going to be my layer for color. So what I usually do to begin with is just I select a neutral color. I select the outsides of the character. This thing, when I select, it kind of select the whole thing. I want to click in here that says continuous and sample all layers. So when I select, it doesn't matter what layer I'm on. It will take into account all the layers. So I kind of select this and I select inverse. Okay. Then in here I fill it with let's say a random color like that one, just like that. Okay. It gives me a silhouette. See that? Now to this silhouette is where I'm gonna do things like I am gonna add more colors. I'm gonna nest everything to this silhouette like that. You see all the layers that I do. I want to keep control of the body, so I can call this body color. Okay, and the body color, I want to make. I just choose random colors. I mean, it will be this gray, and I can select it. All layers again. The one has the same option. This one has the same options too. All layers. So I'll just do sections like that. You see, so I'm gonna select everything that's about that color. The face will be that color. Okay, I'm happy with those colors. That'll make different. So, real quick, I am going to get this doing well. Real quick, Like over here, it didn't fill in quite exactly, then I'm going to choose B. And I'm going to fill it in by hand. Oh no, that's on the line. It's on the line. The white is on the line. Now, the body is going to be, I'm going to put colors real quick on it. I'm going to get to a different thing. I'm just going to choose primary colors. Like this, and then it's going to be like that. Here's going to be a little darker, like this. Put a little bit of pink in here. Like that, like that. Look at the eyes, and then you put in the eyes how much it stand out. Okay. This is going to be perhaps a little darker. On the eyes, like that, maybe even darker. Like that. Teeth, let's not make teeth white. There's different variations of white. So let's see. Yellowish white there. Teeth. You don't always want to go with white. You kind of want to do like subtleties, like on the white and grays. This tongue is going to be about this color, but the darker. Right there. Or it can be green. Let's go lighter for this piece of hair over here. That's a little lighter. There. Something like that. And the muscle, let's make it dark like this color. Like this. Like this. Right? This. Lighter. And you fill it in like this. So, this is what it looks like without, let me see. Okay, that's what it looks like with a line. You see how with the line, the way it looks with a line? Like you need something, right? Like you bring this character to the next level just by simply coloring the line, which is this one here. Remember? See, it almost looks a lot better without the line sometimes, right? The body looks it looks better a little bit. So this is why this up here, these locks become handy. What it'll do to this layer, if you see invisible squares in it, that's what's invisible. You click that. So now you're no longer, with this one, you're no longer selecting the outside, you can only select the inside. Now, which means you can now channel your attention to the line. I will select the skin color, and I'll make it just slightly darker, like this, just a bit. And I start working the line. You see that? Just these pieces of the line over here. Like that. Of course, it takes more time than this. But you kind of paint it like this. And now this color, I will just, so I make this line disappear. I color the same color. You see that? It just starts looking better. You see that? It really blends in. Doesn't come at you too much. Same thing when you do princes. You see the prince, you don't look at the line. The line quality, the line is very important, right? Characters look softer, like these spots. I color the same color like this. And it feels like they fit. They feel more organic. I feel like it's part of it, right? You can leave the outline dark if you like, but the inside you can paint it in a different color. This one too in here. The ears, they're outside, you can make it a pink, but a pink that's a bit darker, right? Like there. It just looks better, look. You see that? Will you agree? I don't know if you can tell on the monitor. As good as here. I mean, the monitor looks way better. Like you guys get an idea of what I'm talking about and why it's necessary to like separate layers and lines. Then the next thing, let's say I did the whole entire character and it was cool and I'm happy with him. Just to make him a little bit more 3D or give that effect that is coming at you, I would do shadows. This when the core shadow comes into effect, how would I lay out the core shadow? How would I do things like that? So what I do roughly is I create another layer on top of this, just in case, or a selection, per se. And what I want to do is, real quick on this one, I'll do it to this one. I'll create a copy of it. I'm always creating copies. Turn that one off, in case I need to use it later. Now on this one, I'm going to do something else. I'm going to do a selection, right? Let me do it to the head first. Okay, the nose are already done. I'm going to do kind of like a selection like this, or a clicker. I'm going to create shadows. Where the shadow will be underneath there. Then underneath this part is going to be another shadow in here. It's going to come all the way up here, right? And that can be, I just can completely go all out. Imagine if I had to follow everything perfectly, how long it would take me. So no, you can just go out, just what you kind of need it. Okay, this, why I have to do that? I can just go a little bit more. Like that. A little bit of tongue, right? Like this. The inside of the ear, I have a little bit in here. So I'm doing where the shadows are gonna lay out. I can even give the hair more texture if I do these things like that. So it's gonna be a darker color that I'm gonna apply. I'm not trying to apply a darker color. Leave a little bit on the eye. It's up to you. It's a preference. Okay. I don't like this two eyes. Now on the back over here, I'm going here. For the shadow. A little bit in here. You see this a lot in anime, right?
Yeah.
Okay, with anime, you see this a lot. And this one totally makes him stand out. Little sections like this. The back is completely dark, so I select it off to push the legs back so they don't blend in here. Can you see that? I'm gonna push them back completely because I'm gonna make all those colors darker. This one in here continues to get this shape. Because I'm looking at the overall shape here, the shadow. Get a little bit in here, a little bit like that. Detail. See it? Right? And if I make a mistake, what do? Press Alt, and I can go back, take it off, right? I can make it less, right? Like that. So now, continue to do this over here, all that good stuff. Okay, now. That's my selection, right? So what am I gonna do to begin with? I'm gonna save it because just in case they don't want to change things about him, or maybe I gotta do a night version because the day color is different than night color. If you have to design color for different scenes, you're gonna have to keep that in mind as a color artist. So what do I do? How do I save the selection? You guys remember? Channels, right? Save it right about here. Save it there. Go back to layers, and on this layer, which is just that layer, you see that? I want to make the selection a little bit darker. Instead of painting it all over again, what I do is I go to Image, Mode, no, Adjustments, Hue and Saturation. Hue and Saturation is like here, I can change the color, the saturation, and how light or dark it is. At first, I want to see darkness. I may not have to change any of this. I just make it a little bit darker, like that. See that? I'm like, that's about right. Hit OK. Right, if I look at it, can you see that? With, without, with. Can you see that? Yeah? Just makes it like character is popping at you. And especially if the line was colored more, it would feel like a little bit more 3D, and then I would go to the next thing, which is a highlight. Where do I want to put highlight? I make a copy of the same layer. I would make a copy of this, so just simply do it on top of the same one. L again. And the tongue is going to be wet, right? How wet do we want to make it? Real okay, that would have to draw another layer. We can do that too. But let's say like how shiny it is. So maybe the two there, maybe one here, the eyes, right? About that. So now they highlight, new layer. What do they do here? I paint a new layer. I paint it white. Default. Okay. White like that. Now, white, I'll change the opacity because I don't want it to be too white like that. So I kind of change the opacity a little bit, bring it down so it kind of fits in, it looks natural, right? It feels a little bit natural there. Okay? Now, going back to this guy where I put the highlight and shadow, I want to create something else as a highlight. And I do the same thing I did earlier, but I go on the top, like a little rim light. Like that. Maybe the hair, top a little bit. Right? You guys follow?
Yeah.
The ear probably not, because the ear is like, how much highlights can you put in there? You top over here. A little bit. Yeah, like that. And a little bit over here. Just all these subtle things that make a difference. So this one will make it like this. If you put one here, it'll make it, it'll push it to the front. And that's what I want to look as kind of busy in this area. A little bit here, not really necessary. Maybe a little bit here on top of the paws. I mean, you can get really into it by like creating this thing like that. Show dimension, right? Now that selection, I'm gonna go again. Control is the shortcut to hue and saturation was under image adjustments, hue and saturation. It'll tell you really quickly how to do that by pressing, what is this, control? No, it's Apple U. So if I press Apple U on my keyboard, right away you get hue and saturation. Understand, learning these short keys is gonna make your work, you'll feel like you're drawing on paper. Everything is like fast. So much that when I had to make a transition between computer to drawing on paper, when I was drawing on paper, I was often looking for the undo button. Like undo, I was like, well, there's no undo on this thing. Believe me, it'll happen. Now, to do the highlight, go of course in the lightness. I'll make it a little bit lighter. Can you see that? Right.
Excuse me, Lynn. So we have about like an hour and 15 minutes left.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if you wanted to take some time to go around and look at some people's sketches.
Yeah, definitely. So you. So that's how you do it. Kind of like that. Yes, you got that? That'll bring your characters to the next level. Yeah. It looks so much better on the screen. The screen should be like this, so you can see the band.
This projector sun.
But you get the idea, right? Yeah. So what do you guys prefer? Drawing in shapes or lines? Two different mediums. As designers, you're gonna think, okay, what medium should I use? How should I experiment? I think it's both. I just finished working on a show called Pen Zero. Are you guys familiar with that show?
Yeah.
Oh, Pen Zero. We animated textures on it, and the line was really like it wasn't perfect. It was really off. It was. I have some drawings for that. That one, right? You see how the line is? It's really rough. And in coloring, for a coloring like that, I don't think you would want to put flat color. So what they did is they put texture. They're actually textures underneath that work the same way I showed you. How they're like nested, parented to like areas, and they animate well, animate perfectly, and it looks different than any other show. If you guys are familiar, look at it on YouTube. It's called Pen Zero. It's a great show.
Pen Zero Part-Time Hero.
Part-Time Hero, that's the one.
Yeah.
And we're starting to use things, and you're gonna be now introduced to new technology, new mediums, new platforms. can be very creative with all those things. It can be like, for instance, I was designing for a show, and I, instead of putting like jeans color, I put the actual, I took a picture of my jeans, and I put the texture of the jeans on it. Like long time, I thought I was like, wow, this is so cool. This is a long time ago. So keep all those things in mind. Now, you guys have any questions?
I think we'll get a lot of individual questions as you go around.
See, you already had your turns. Yeah. I like you guys to, when I leave, to pitch what you've done today. To all of you. Like, get up and like, kind of talk to, have fun doing it, okay? You'll help others and you'll help yourself. When I was in school, I had my own little style. I kind of wasn't sure what it was, but I just like to draw. I wasn't sure what I was gonna do, or if I was doing storyboards or what. I was just trying a little bit of everything, right? But what I did is I always copied my friends' styles. So at the end of the day, I learned from 22 people, 15 people. So I had all those styles in one, and I really emphasize that you guys do that and share. Yeah. Any questions? Any problems that you find? Was I going too fast on anything you'd like me to go over? Yeah? We're good? Okay. I'm saying like, oh, that's really cool. I'm looking at things I wish I could share with everybody, like all this stuff that you guys are doing, the shapes. Like, I don't even know where to start, but that's really cool. You handle the shapes, the turns, you got it, interesting shapes, the relay. And why don't we do this? I'm gonna go around with everybody, and then keep on working on your stuff. I'm gonna start here. Yeah? So how you doing?
Sketches. I'm not very into drawing. That's good.
No, don't worry. Anything, anything.